Welcome to the Branding PR Podcast, where we dive deep into the stories and strategies of today's most impactful entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professionals. Whether you're building your brand, scaling your business, or just looking for inspiration, you're in the right place. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Branding PR Podcast. My name, of course, is Brandy Sims, and I am happy to have you back with us this week for the next and latest episode of the show. Every week I'm always bringing you some hot topics, news, items, interviews with industry pros, and this week will be no different. So let's dive right into it. So this week's topic actually kind of fell in my lap by way of my inbox. Hello, hi, what's up? And this particular item, I'm totally gonna butcher this name, but so of course, I always like feedback. So let me know if I didn't get this right. But Disco, which is, I guess, a company that specializes in marketing research, came out with their second annual consumer trends report, which revealed that social media has overtaken TV as consumers' top purchase driver. So I'm going to repeat that. So according to Disco, in their second annual consumer trends report, social media has overtaken TV as the top purchase driver for consumers. And the stats are pretty they're neck and neck. So 43% of people said that social media was their primary driving source. And on the other hand, 41% said TV was a purchase motivator. So this particular study is incredibly hot and is incredibly important because I think it showcases just the transition that we've all experienced over the last couple of years, especially in the communications world, that is showing that there is a significant influence from social media, and not just in the community outreach, connecting with new people, networking aspect, but to be an actual legitimate place where decisions are being made. And clearly, through this study, is showing that people are really using social media as their go-to when they're making real decisions in terms of their purchases, like deciding, okay, what's a good brand to buy from? What's a good product service that I should check out? Social media is that thing now, right? So I want to unpack this even further because, with it being out, this is kind of one, and also, like, before I jump into my points here, I think it's really crazy that this came out the same week that 3 of the major social media platforms actually shut down. So it's kind of crazy that in one breath, people are saying that social media is a driving force in their decision making for purchases, and in the other, it is literally shutting down on us. But I digress. Okay. It's important that this study takes place because it shows us how influential social media is. So I want to kind of dive into that point and talk about the strategies and the ways that entrepreneurs and small business owners can really be leveraging this to their benefit. And of course, because we just talked about it shutting down in the last 48 hours, these are applicable when the apps are open and working. So kind of preface with that. All right. So first things first. First of all, there is a huge point that I want to share in terms of how there are proven strategies to maximize on your social media ROI. Okay. I know the big thing with business owners especially is, how are we investing our time as well as our resources, and how is that giving us our return on investment? All of us want to see that investment, right? You're putting forth the time, you're putting forth the effort to put together content. You might be hiring a team. You might be outsourcing for different services so that it can exist. You want to see the return on investment, and that can be in the form of higher engagement, more sales, more leads. All of those things have an impact. So it's important to be aware of and also know that there are proven strategies that help maximize that return on investment. And here's my tip. So this entire instance, and especially when we talk about platforms that just kind of shut down, give way, as well as those that are maintaining and doing their thing, it's important to be aware of that you need to be tailoring your content on each platform. I talk about this in one of the earlier episodes, and it still holds true today, especially with this report coming out, that this reinforces why you really need to be investing and considering how you are tailoring your content to each of these platforms. Every platform has a different need, right? So, for example, short form videos, it's going to be best served on your TikToks for now, while it's still legal and still accessible, right? Instagram Reels, whereas it's been proven that carousel posts on LinkedIn serve that professional audience a little bit better. So, you have to really think about this. How am I tailoring my content towards the platform that I'm sharing on? This is a part of those strategies that we talk about that help to enhance and improve as well as maximize the return on investment. You want to see a better return on investment? See how you're tailoring your content on each platform. And I like how, I said it from the beginning, platform, but really it needs to be plural, platforms. You don't never want to put all your eggs into one basket for this reason. And that is when platforms shut down, when they're no longer available or accessible, you need to make sure that your brand is still able to reach your ideal audience, and your followers and your potential customers, your prospects. You need to be able to still reach them. So that's why it's important to not have all your eggs in one basket. Make sure that you're on different platforms. Make sure that they are vetted. Make sure that these platforms make sense for your platform, your brand, and start to tailor your content and package your content development and your social media strategy towards each of those as you continue along. Cannot emphasize that enough. And just seeing what happened this week, and that has, let's be for real, Facebook and Instagram have gone down plenty of times, I think, in this last 2-3 years. And each time, there's a big story about it. People are complaining, writing their reports, they're sharing their frustrations on other platforms about it. It's the same song and dance, right? But at the end of the day, technology is technology, right? So it can happen to any platform, not just them. It's happened frequently with them, but it can happen with others too. So what is it that you're doing as a business owner to ensure that you still have access to your followers, have access to your contacts and your connections beyond just one platform? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, guys. So serious. And so why do we do this? Why is this important to be aware of? Well, with millennials and Gen X starting to become more responsive on these platforms, if you're focusing on platform specific strategies that can help your business, it can actually optimize that ad spend that you have. It can optimize the leverage that you have. So when you're thinking of, again, doing your research on these social media platforms, making sure it aligns with what your brand does and what it offers and where your ideal customer is, start to think about the demographic in terms of the age groups. Which age groups are on these platforms and how am I tailoring the content towards them? That's a part of building your strategy. And that's something that's worthwhile and is proven time and time again that will get you your return on investment. Also, I don't want to leave Gen Z out of this because I read another article. I can't for the life of me remember which media outlet it was, but they were talking about how Gen Z is quickly becoming, if not already, one of the top consumers. So if you're thinking of tailoring content and your return on investment, hi, another reason, your top spender, okay, they're looking for specific styles of content and they're looking at specific platforms that they engage on. Are you on the right platform to attract them? Are you sharing the right content to attract them as well? These are things you got to think about as an entrepreneur and a small business owner. All right. So the next thing, I want to get into the psychology behind social media ads, okay? And really specifically, just social ads in general. So, my tip for you guys is really getting into understanding the role of authenticity and storytelling when you're sharing your social ads. You don't get to skip this when you're doing an advertisement. You still have to equally invest the time to put together messaging that makes sense and is going to engage your customer, your person. So the role of user generated content, UGC in short, is that consumers and really social media users now have the platform, they now have the mic, the mic, to be able to share their own content. And you can use that to your advantage. You can use that as leverage. That's why we talk about how are we developing our influencer partnerships. user generated content is a part of that, right? Because these are users that are active on these accounts, and they are users that are sharing content that hopefully is engaging a larger audience. These are the types of people and types of users that you want to engage with your brand, right? This is how you can really deeply resonate with your audience on a way larger scale that you can't even dream of, that you can't even think of, right? But when you look at it and you kind of shed the layers, because I know some of these terms that I'm giving you, it feels very buzzwordy: influencer, content creator, all of that stuff. At its very core, we have to really take it for what it is. Why is it that people are so engaged and so almost entrapped by content creators and influencers? It's because they bring a level of authenticity that people really gravitate towards and really enjoy and really like. They see themselves with these regular people, whereas with celebrities, it's kind of difficult to see themselves in that. There is almost like a hierarchy with it that you almost can't achieve, or you can get close. I might see a celebrity ad where, their hot guys buy a car, or, this celebrity influencer or be specific, celebrity has this amazing watch or this jewelry, and now I can go buy it too and feel some kind of an alignment to them. It's something that has traditionally always been done when we talk about advertisement and social, and even down to social media advertisement. But when you get with influencers, there is a level of authenticity that you don't really quite get with celebrities, because these are regular people. Now, influencers back in my day, okay, back in my day, it was, still fairly regular people. They weren't making multi-million dollar contracts or brand deals. Yeah, they were getting brand deals, but it was more in the terms of or really in the form of samples and products and trips that they would get to have. Now they're getting multi-million deals all the same with celebrities. And that's a huge difference, even just in the last 5 years. So I say all that to say that they're shaking it up. And this is kind of a way that you can better understand the psychology behind those social ads and how you can use that to your advantage, and why influencer partnerships actually can be worthwhile for you, and user generated content in general can be worthwhile to you. It's an ability and it's a way for you to really resonate with your audience by showcasing the authenticity that influencers can bring to the platform. That makes a big difference. Now, why is this important? So Gen Z, in terms of responsiveness, they're at a high and increasing rate of 62% on these platforms. That to me indicates there's a strong need and preference for content that feels genuine, that feels real, that feels authentic. So it's something that you can't really sleep on. It's like there is a psychology behind social ads, and that is there is a influence and there is a value in authenticity. What is the authenticity that your small business brings to the table? And how can you use that to leverage the attention that you're after and you're looking for, as well as in those partnerships? Okay, so the final thing I want to get into on this topic, and this is just like, I'm just having the most fun with this, because the more that I read the data and more that I read the stats, it's like it's literally night and day. TV kind of used to be king for so long. Even when I got started in PR back in 2008, we were just kind of experiencing Facebook and MySpace, kind of going back at it, like, which one is better, and this one is more cool and this one's not. And Twitter was just kind of like the new thing that was happening. But TV was king. Everyone still tuned into their shows every week, waiting for the finale, waiting for the debut, and all of that good stuff. And it was a huge thing. The eyeballs were there. And so to see that transition from 2008 to now going into 2025 is so crazy and mind blowing to me. But it's also just a signal of the times, guys. It's a signal of the times and what we're doing now to make the impact for our brands. So say all that to say, I think that there is and I'm going to share this with you, a blueprint for tracking and improving on your social media performance. And this is something that now is very much accessible, very much attainable in a way that it really wasn't when social media got started. But again, it was new, it was innovative, it was something that had never been done before. And therefore, the tools simply weren't there. So now, you're able to really track and measure the performance of your post. Did people like this? Did they engage with it? Where are people coming from that like that particular post? You can really get very detailed and specific in your analytics. And these can all be things that help inform your strategy, which is important, because you don't want to operate without a strategy. What is the actual plan? How do I hope to achieve these clients or these particular customers? There has to be a strategy behind it. And data can help you build that strategy so you can be effective and hit your target and your mark every time. So my tip, I want to recommend specific tools like Meta Ads Manager. That is one that we use quite frequently, not only for branding PR, but also for our clients to be able to track and just determine how well our ads are doing and how they're performing, if people are engaging with them well. TikTok Analytics, again, while it's still accessible and available, very, very good with breaking down the data and the specifics that you need to know, who is engaging with the ad, if it's working, if people are loving it. You can get some really good analytics from there, as well as Disco's Insights. And that's the company that I mentioned earlier in this, kind of the basis of this topic, that is known for developing marketing research to find important stats like 43% of social media users now say that social media is the key reason behind their purchase decision making. Tools like these and platforms like these are available to give you and provide to you the insights that make a difference and can help inform your strategy as you prepare and plan for your calendar year of 2025. Also helps to get information like click-through rates, your conversion rates, how well is your ad converting? You need to know that. And if I'm throwing words at you that you're like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? I'm going to break it down really easy. Conversion rates is how quickly people are coming back to and clicking through the advertisement that has been presented to them. So how many of these that people get their eyeballs on this ad that I've presented, and it's converting into a sale, an action, whatever it is that I have placed to make happen on behalf of my brand. That's a conversion rate. Click-through rates is how many people are actually saying, oh, I'm going to click through that and see, okay, what are you talking about on this ad? Because that's important too. You want to know that people are actually clicking the advertisement on these digital platforms and clicking through to see what you have available. Conversion rates, it just takes it a step further, because this is who's actually saying I'm clicking through and I'm actually buying, like I'm putting my credit card down, right? These are all stats that you want to know because it'll help inform your strategy. So why is it important? So businesses need to understand specifically which ads work better for specific demographics. All of this is important. Like, especially I mentioned earlier with Gen Z, we can't sleep on millennials and we can't sleep on Gen X. These are the groups that are making the primary purchase decisions right now. So in which case, we need to know how to target them best, show them and give them products and services that they'll be interested in a way and in a package, I'll say, in a package that is going to gauge their interest and make them want to solidify the purchase and make the almost knock my mic out of my hand. But we want to create the right advertisement that speaks to them. And each demographic is going to be different, and how you tailor that is what's going to make the difference. That's what matters. So to just kind of recap, so this 43% of people using social media as their example of their top purchase driver, this is something that is a total game changer. But I gotta say, this is something that we all saw it coming. So what does that mean for you as a brand owner, as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, it means that you need to be tailoring your strategies towards your social media platforms. What are the strategies and how are you maximizing on your return on investment? Part of that is tailoring your content towards each platform. But also, I'm going to add another tip onto that. Make sure that you're on the right platform. Every platform is not for you, right? I'm going to say it again. Every platform is not for you. Don't sign up for all these things and then get overwhelmed because you can't maintain it. You're not outsourcing it. You're not seeking services. Hello, Branding PR. We offer social media marketing services as well as PR support for businesses. But if you're not tapping in, you're going to be one of the first people that goes straight to burnout and you're going to get overwhelmed. So get very, very tightened and get very specific in terms of what platforms you plan to have your brand engage on. Look for the platforms that you can get the biggest return on investment, where you're actually going to have your audience engage with you, right? It might not be the platform that you're currently engaging on. And it may show based on the engagement. Are people liking it? Are they commenting on it? Is it the right style for the platform? Using the earlier example of short form videos, that's going to be TikTok. Carousel pictures, going to be LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. Make sure that you're tailoring content when you're getting onto each of these platforms. It makes a big difference. The next thing we have to talk about and remember the importance of psychology behind your social ads. Where is your authenticity? Are you bringing authenticity to your content? If you're not, I need you to stop, sit down, and start to ask yourself, why are we not bringing our true selves into our content? Because that is a key driver for millennials, for Gen Z, for several different groups. So it's something that you need to be considering and thinking about, not only just doing all of those things, but actually implementing. How are we bringing our true, authentic selves to our content? As well as how are we partnering with user-generated content as well as influencers in those types of partnerships that we can leverage to our advantage. You need to start partnering with people. You need to start partnering with influencers, as well as finding those user-generated content that showcases and help elevate that authenticity that you're looking for and wanting to showcase. It's your brand. Nothing can be more authentic than that. And it's your story. No one's going to be able to tell your story but you. So you have to show up authentically every time. Start to tailor your content in that same approach, and you'll start to see a bigger difference. And then, of course, finally, start to track and measure the performance of those social ads that you do conduct. TikTok analytics, meta ad, discos, insights, all of these places are really, really good places for you to start to track your advertisement, where you are advertising. Now, LinkedIn has their own ads. Many of the social media platforms do have their own set of analytics. Some of the newer ones, I'm not entirely sure, like Blue Sky and Mastodon. I'm not sure if they have their own analytics system, as they are still fairly new. But all of your mainstays and some of your older social media platforms, they all have analytics. Use those analytics to your advantage and help to determine if it is a successful ad. Are people engaging with it well? If it's not great, what did they not like? What ads perform better? Which ads are resonating with this particular demographic, and so on and so forth. Analytics are literally your guiding light in terms of your strategy. Use it. It is there for a reason. Even if you're not running ads, start to look at your data insights from your platforms, especially if you've been posting for some time. I'd probably give it maybe 90 days. Do yourself an audit. Okay, let's go and just reflect on this 90 days. Which posts that we share were more popular? Did people like videos more than they like the static posts? Did they like images more than they like people talking? What is it that people are engaging with, and how can we deliver in terms of content to fit that need so we can get more responses? And we can, obviously, the goal out is always, how can we build it up to conversion? How am I getting that person to go from, oh, this is a funny ad, or this is really great, to, oh, I'm going to click through and get more information, to, I'm going to make a purchase? Because As I mentioned before, 43% are saying that social media and what they see on social media is a primary driving force for making their purchases. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you need to not only be investing more in your social media, but you also need to get a little bit more tight in your strategies. What is the plan and how can we engage people on social media effectively and strategically? Because that's where they're making their decisions. And that's where they're seeing whether or not they're going to make a future purchase decision. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. It's always a pleasure to have these talks with you. As always, give us a 5-star review. Share it with a friend that you think it will help benefit. Always feel free to reach out if you want to be a guest on the show. I'm actually booking folks on the calendar for 2025 as we speak. So if you're interested, reach out to us at hello@brandingpr.com. My team will connect you with the right resources so we can bring you on. But yeah, it's always great again to talk about these really hot items. This one was a really fun one for me because I like getting into data and analytics as well as what that data can do, Hey, but yes, guys, well, hey, as always, good to talk hot topics, hot items, things that matter. Let's connect and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye, guys.